for the first 25 minutes was probably the best player on the pitch, and then kind of things went astray. But I think he picked it up, and that just to me was like, this is not what we're used to seeing from St Helens.
No, not in any sense at all. And it did take, as you said, you mentioned in the stats, it took a bit of brutality from the mouth down south to wake them up, didn't it? Really, good try that it was, but it was just a piece of brutality, really, from McCarthy Scarsbrook, really.
What I would say, to flip it around a bit, is I personally would be picking out Lachlan Coote again as the man of the match in this game. He got 2 Albert Goldthorpe points, Hampshire got 3 and Josh Wood got 1. In the Man of Steel, Josh Wood got 3, Roby got 2 and Tanganoa got 1. So they're all recognising the, I suppose, surprisingness of Wakefield being definitely competitive in this game. But from what I can see, Lachlan Coote stopped 2 Matty Ashurst tries rather than Matty Ashurst getting 1 try of the 2 where he was stopped on the goal line. But also he kicked a 40-20, didn't he? He had some good interjections. He scored a really good try, well, 2 really good tries, I suppose. There was maybe a borderline but brilliant nature to his first try with just before half time with young Sims offload off the deck. He just stopped his arm, his ball carrying shoulder might have hit the deck, but his ball carrying arm didn't. He got a beautiful offload away. Coote in great support scored, and then he scored a really nice try, didn't he, off a Roby break in the second half as well. So
yeah,
I thought Lachlan Coote was the player that most turned it around for St Helens, even though, like say, LMS put a real good, passionate stamp on the game at that stage.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky game to because I always felt that Wakefield were going to come out the wrong side of it, even though Saints weren't really at the races. Wakefield just couldn't score enough points to get far enough ahead, and that's always there. They had opportunities, as you said, but some kind of last-ditch defence and Lynn not quite having the pace and things like that. Just, they needed to be further ahead, didn't they, rather than the 12 points that they managed to get when Saints were really bad. And
there was a similarity to last week as well, where it was just after the sort of half-hour mark where things kind of swapped around for the momentum of their game, and they lost their way a bit, Wakefield, at Catalans, and having done that the week before when they were 8-0 up after 35 minutes, being 12-0 up after 30 minutes, you like you say, you had that sense that it could swing around as soon as Saints sort their act out. And I'm not sure they fully sorted their act out, but they certainly sorted it out enough.
Yeah, they did enough good things to get over the top of them. And as you said, that Ashurst try was there's a bit of fortune in that, I think, in the way that was given. So.
There was a bit of fortune in the... but that's the video referee. But by the way, I don't think the on-field referee was, I can understand why the live call was a try, because it kind of, the rolling over motion happened quite fast. But yeah, so there you go. But I suppose the Walker try as well, there was a slight question mark over the onside nature of the fullback Walker, Alex Walker's positioning.
You did it then.
Yeah. But his opening, but it still was a beautiful try from the Westerman offload out to Reece Lynn to the break, and the really nice touch kick back inside from Reece Lynn. I've not really seen him deliver that sort of play before. He's great at running into gaps, at finding people on his inside or outside in support play and that sort of stuff. But I've not seen his kicking game come to the fore before. That was really good. He probably was just onside. And you like to see tries scored rather than not scored, especially when they're flowing like that, don't you?
Yeah,
so that was a good moment in the game. But that Sim offload off the deck was brilliant.
Yes, it was as you said, it was part of the kickstart that Saints needed just to hang on. But yeah, they considering of all the teams that played this weekend, they have had the best lead up, haven't they? In terms of the team that they played last week and all those kind of things. And yeah, they weren't on it, which you might expect them to be at this point.
Well, there was a little bit of talk of maybe they were a bit cold because they hadn't played for 10 days.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways, though, can you?
No.
You can't say you're knackered after 6 days and then say, "Oh, I'm cold because I haven't played for 10." Do you know what I mean? I don't buy that. I'm sorry.
No, I think there was a little bit of complacency going into the game because they've kind of just been in a training routine and not playing matches. So they've probably not been going full tilt because you're not going to in training at the moment when you know that there's going to be a block of games soon that you're going to play 3 times in 9 days soon. Or 10 days or whatever soon, because every team's got to have a couple of those sessions going through the rest of the season. That combined into it with playing the team at the bottom and a team that had basically come out saying if Cass could have played yesterday, we'd have been asking to not play today. So, yeah.
Well, they've got another chance next week to put it right properly, haven't they?
Yes, they have, indeed. Right, the next game is the game that not many of us saw, but do you want to take us through what happened in France?
Yep, so this one, it was Catalan 34, Hull KR 4. It was 22-0 at half-time. We're assured only 5,000 people were there, and Jack Smith was the referee.
One Hull KR fan who got more attention than the 4,999 Catalans fans, but well done to him, trekking across from Portugal.
Yeah, I missed out on that one, but yeah, good stuff. See, this just shows you that watching a 3-minute clip doesn't tell you the entire game. So apparently there were 8 breaks each, although I haven't seen any of the KR breaks.
Yeah.
But Catalan scored 6 tries to 1. They also had nearly 300 more metres at a better average gain, better team tackle success rate, and win the penalty count as well. So for Catalan, Joel Tompkins with 3 tries, 6 tackle busts, 110 metres and 3 offloads. Tom Davies with 2 tries, 6 tackle busts, 167 metres, 2 clean breaks. Completing the Wigan triumvirate, Sam Tompkins with a try assist, 7 tackle busts, 124 metres and 3 offloads, and Sam Cassiana with 123 metres. For Hull KR, Ben Crooks with 5 tackle busts, 153 metres and 2 clean breaks, Matt Parcell with 122 metres and Kane Linnett with 120 metres.
Yeah, Tom Andrews got in touch. He said, in lieu of actually going to the game that I was booked to go to, I went for the full Catalan trip experience. I charged myself £8 for a beer from the fridge, closed my eyes and pointed at some food for my dinner, then watched a game with no commentary. Dreadful from start to finish, filmed on a pomme de terre, captain homesick getting a hat-trick, woeful defending and dominated in attack. There you go.
Well, you saw more of it than we did, even if it was filmed on a potato. It feels to me that the highlights I've seen perhaps don't do this justice in terms of, how can you make 8 breaks and then just score 1 try? That's the real question for me.
Because you're making your breaks, but you're being caught pretty quickly by a defence that's got more appetite than you have. Is what I would suggest. Maybe they're counting half breaks as breaks when they're doing the stats sometimes, and
maybe
it's hard without seeing the whole game to sort of know how it worked out. But you look at the 2 sides, and you do think that there's way more strength and determination in that Dragons side than there is in that Rovers side, who had Rowan Mills making his debut. A lot of players in there that are not going to be there next year, like Weller Haraki, Mitch Garbett, Matty G, Harvey Livette, we assume won't be back. So it's kind of, you wonder. Nate Pettigrew was playing in the second row in this game, so there's not much pace there, is there? So if he made a break, say he got through a hole, then you'd think that Ben Julian and Joel Tompkins will have the wherewithal to get back around that and catch them on the second effort, sort of thing. It's the only way I can see it making sense.
Yeah, I mean, from as you say, what I've seen, the all I really recall from the highlights is that KR looking distinctly lacklustre and unmotivated in their efforts to chase the Tompkins brothers around, which is what they seem to be doing for the entire 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and not making a tackle. So yeah, it was comfortable for Catalan. I think we can say that with no shadow of a doubt.
I mean, Man of Steel had Joel Tompkins getting 3 points, Davies getting 2, and Sam Tompkins getting 1. It was flipped in the Goldthorpes. 3 points for Sam, 2 for Davies, and 1 for Joel. That without having seen much of the game, we can only talk about highlight moments really, because that's all we saw is the highlights. But the long left to right pass from Drinkwater for Davies' first try was brilliant. But Davies' ability to stay in the field of play and squeeze it down into the corner there was equally impressive. And Tom Davies' 11 tries from 7 games is an outstanding return for him, coming back from that devastating injury he picked up last year, and moving to a new side as well, coming in halfway through the season and being absolutely fundamental to that side. And the one game he's missed since he returned to the side was the hammering they suffered against Wigan. So he's playing a really important role. The other thing from the highlights was that the break-up field by Sam Tompkins and David Mead was a really good play. I mean, Tompkins looks absolutely back to his best this year, but the play that they put together, Mead just getting pulled down, so there was at least some attitude there from Hull KR before the ball got shifted out to the homophobic outside back, who put in a powerful run and an excellent finish as well, really. And then Sam Tompkins being back to his best was shown again by his role in the full length into play that played up to him putting the final pass in to Tom Davies' second score late on in the game to sort of finish it outright in the last minute. So, the highlights had Sam Tompkins looking fantastic all over it, but Tom Davies being brilliant.
I've got literally nothing else to say about this game. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We've just described all the highlights. Let's move on to a game where plenty of people have got stuff to say about fantastically, which is
good.
The final game on Friday night that saw Warrington play Wigan. It was 12-6 to the wire at half time, but having gone 12-0 up, but it finished 18 points to 14 to the Warriors. Chris Kendall was the referee, who I think contributed to the excitement of this game by, rather than making a guess on 50-50 calls, just not making any call at all on 50-50 calls, which made the game flow. I thought really interesting stat coming out of this one. 10 of the 16 players Warrington used, because Ellis Robson didn't get on the field, used in this match, went over 100 metres, and 2 more went over 90 metres. That's huge numbers. No surprise then that Wire made over 1,800 total metres in the game, and 387 more than Wigan did. However, Wigan actually made a fractionally, and we're talking very small difference here, but fractionally more metres per carry, and 8 clean breaks to 5. Warrington made 31 successful offloads, which was a big deal was made out of this in the commentary, to Wigan's 4 in the end, but Wigan turned their higher number of breaks into more tries. And if you remember back to early days of SLP, we always used to say breaks beat offloads, but it's been a while since it's been so patently clear, but here it was. In this one, individually, Zach Hardacre with 1 try, 8 tackle bus, 176 metres, shifting to the left centre. Don Manfredi, 6 tackle bus, 178 metres and 3 clean breaks. Ollie Partington, 45 tackles, 10 of which were marker tackles, and 125 metres. Liam Farrell, 1 try, 55 tackles, 18 of which were marker tackles, 5 tackle bus, 141 metres and 2 clean breaks. Wow. For the losing Wire side, Steph Ratchford was outstanding in this game. 6 tackle bus, 172 metres, 2 clean breaks and 6 successful offloads. And I think, unfortunately, unfairly not credited with a try assist as well there for the penalty try. Mike Cooper with 169 metres and 3 successful offloads. Josh Charnley with 5 tackle bus and 167 metres. Darryl Clark with 1 try assist, 55 tackles, 10 marker tackles, 137 metres and 3 successful offloads.
lots and lots of stats.
Yeah.
So, yes, plenty of people get in touch on this one. So, Jen K says, really tense game. Pretty hard to watch your team defending all those Warrington offloads. The Hill try was short and shouldn't have been given. Good debut from Singleton, and I think he'll do well. Feels like a massive win.
Carsten says, did